T-ball and practices and makeup. But they would like to, at some point, build a concession stand out on that little piece of ground we own out there. Now, like the reason they don't use the fields now because there's no electric, and they make their money on, selling food, and they can't do it.
Right.
Or at Coalport.
I wouldn't see a problem, would you?
Yeah, it'd be great. So.
It doesn't sound like it's going to cost us much, right?
No,
just the electricity.
Just
so
electricity.
We provide and we do that anyway.
Yeah. But then, like I said, they're at first. Then they have, and that hole's asking about. They don't have any bleachers up in Reed. They have to buy either us selling them bleachers or renting it to them. But then Troy said, as I told him about the flood project, I don't know how much that's going to be involved with what's going to happen with the little. But they're willing to, in the next year or so, put money into that field down there.
Right.
It wouldn't cost us anything. Just to maintain cutting the grass.
They would almost have their choice of locations, would they not? Weren't there a couple fields there, as I recall, and some of them are not in use now?
Well, the field by the park, and then it's always been a little field.
Yeah, and that's what they want to use the Jerry.
No, thank you. I drank too much all it smelled so good though.
We're trying to find somebody who can. I said leave the grass on the Jerry field and just make bases.
I made a whole pot when I got home from work today.
If somebody else
only a couple
who cares? If they want to drag it,
Right.
It smells
that's
good.
nothing, right?
Thank you for asking.
But as far as like flooding that or even when it rains, if they keep that grass infield and just keep the bases there and the baseline dirt, that would be more beneficial to them.
Yeah, I say that's between you and them or whoever. I wouldn't want to micromanage somebody else's project. They're doing volunteer work.
It'd be nice to have a concession stand built down there.
I'm with you.
Because I said that's how they make their money right now, so they're trying to get us.
I don't see why we should stand in the way.
Right.
You?
No. I want baseball back
Right.
now.
As of today, no more therapy. I'm off the cane.
Good.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah, you're still out of town.
I think I asked him to go out there.
Not that much.
Is she getting a new set of wheels, Marty?
I don't know.
Yeah, I did.
It's 40 feet from.
It's the same one
Yeah.
I
We put that
had
on for
before.
you.
It will be the fourth.
There's two different sizes, and this one's the bigger cup. It's the same vehicle I had before that I wrecked, except for it's 2 years newer.
I'll have to bring
I
that
still have
map
to try and
up
find
so you can
windows
see
and
it,
there's no
No
power
air
locks.
conditioning.
Kathy. I'll have to bring
I have
that
air
map so you can see it.
conditioning.
I should have shown it to you that day you were there.
Windows.
Right.
I don't know they make that anymore.
Neither do
Yeah,
we.
they follow. What kind of car is it?
It's a Nissan Versa.
Oh, all right.
I told my boss Kevin, I said, I want power locks, power windows, and an automatic starter. And he says, I'll give you 2 out of 3. I called the office and I said, I didn't even get 2 out of 3.
Bummer.
I still have
You're
to
gonna
try
have to renegotiate your contract.
How about it?
Shall we look at, did you get that, I sent you Article 420, property maintenance? Do you have copies of that? I think Angel's to make those things.
I was gonna ask if you had any paper copies of that.
Yes, you have to have that in front of you.
I
to
didn't
do
get
this.
that.
Yep.
Do you get the email?
No, I'll have to check my junk mail and see if it came through.
Okay. Well, this shouldn't be too hard. I'm gonna see where she's at though.
There it is, I keep telling you.
So do I.
Yeah, I got swords.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Discussion. If I don't have enough, she's gonna be here with some more. You're welcome. mostly what we're looking at is 420.99, bottom half of the page, enforcement penalties. We're fine. I think we're in good shape. We may as well just work our way through. You see the bottom part where it says 429, enforcement and penalties. We pretty much have to take this one line, you know, Barney, from talking to the magistrate. We can only go by what's in here. Now, obviously, we don't have it set up for picket enforcement like the woman who's here. So we see what we have. We can always add that, but we may be able to make this work. Let's just take it one sentence at a time. I hate reading out loud. All right, so it says enforcement. The code enforcement official shall enforce all provisions of this article. So we're cool there. We have two of them. So that fits with sentence one. And the rest of that sentence is pretty obvious. You can't go there at midnight, for example. It has to be at a reasonable time, and you're not going to do that anyway. Okay, so then it comes down to what you do, and this is where we're going to have to do some preparation. We shall issue a notice of a violation. Everybody has one. If you can join us for a little bit, we'd appreciate it. Okay, so we have to identify the property. Now this is where it comes in. I sent you something. Did you get the one, a sample of the ticket? You use the door hanger stuff?
Yep. Did
you get that one, Barbie?
And that's what, if we had copies of that one, we could almost take what they have.
Yes.
And transfer what we have.
Almost. Now, some stuff we can't. I'll show it because we have to go by our ordinance.
Right, that's what I said, transfer.
Yes. Onto that it's a door hanger. You all know what we're talking about here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I was just messing around. I sent you photographs of one. That's why I need you, because we will probably have to print these things out. Reverend, you may have some input here as well. You're into printing, right? You have some understanding of that. Here,
Is this an amendment to an existing ordinance?
No, it's an actual ordinance. And what I've done is I cut two parts out to make it fit on one page. So the purpose of the ordinance is gone and the severability clause is gone. So this is for our purposes here. But this is the basic ordinance that you're going to find if you look in her ordinance book. It should be the same as what you printed. It's one section.
Oh, so it's not being amended or anything. This exists already.
This already exists. We passed this, so we have to work from this. I'm going to see if I can find what I'm talking about here. My understanding is you can buy it. Reverend, help us out here. You may know this. If we could buy blank door hangers, say we got them in red, and this is where you come in. We can print them, right? You can set your...
It might take a few tries to get it right.
To figure it out, right. I know, you know far more about this than I do, so I'm going to show you just like I was messing around.
I would assume something like demo. Yeah, I mean, you might have to do it a couple times
Yeah,
to figure it out, but in theory it would work.
Do you see, Kevin? And this is me monkeying around. You would be able to do much better. We just have to get the proper wording on here. Some of it is real easy. Like if you saw the one that I sent you.
The courtesy notice.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
revised it a little bit like that. And this is by no means, this is rudimentary. It's not a finished product. It was just for illustration at this meeting. Are you with us on the door hanger going that route? That makes, you are, right?
Right. We were going to first make sure that we could have try person-to-person contact.
Yes, that still
nobody's
has to be.
home.
You
we're
can
gonna
leave
put
that.
that on the door and take a picture of it so we can say we get the river.
Yeah, and we still want the person-to-person.
Yes.
I didn't, the mayor has a letter, I didn't even bother emailing it to any of you. It doesn't work. It doesn't meet any of these criteria, and it's just basically a friendly letter, right?
Yeah.
Just
It's
no
just
mention of
a,
fines or.
Please fix this, please take care
Yeah,
of
yeah,
this.
please take care of it, please. We're going beyond, please. And we've already started that.
If you need a permit now, you still go to the mayor or do you go to?
Yeah, if you need a permit, all these guys are doing is enforcing the simple ordinances where the weeds are too high or there's junk in the yard. No building codes, nothing to do with that, so she still issues the construction permits.
Yeah.
But we have to look at that as well. In my opinion, that is also wrong. You and I talked about that real briefly, right there.
This is not a complaint, but I issued a letter to the mayor 2 months ago requesting what I had to do repair on my side porch and everything, because it's dilapidated now and it needs corrected. And she has written me back that she's working on that. I just thought there should be a faster way. I mean, I even have my contractor.
Look, some of that stuff, we don't want people, I think she's pushing it a little too hard. The goal, I'm gonna get off a real quick tangent here. The goal of that ordinance is if you improve your property, increase the value of it, the county and the borough can increase your taxes. That's the purpose of that ordinance. Joe Nevlin, whenever they were doing something with Brothers Pizza, they were just paying it. You went down there and got an ordinance. That's just plain wrong. All you're doing there is you're paying pills off, you're bringing it back up to where it was. You're not increasing the value of your property.
Well, that makes the second question. What is, if you're repairing something, do you need to have?
That's my point. Now, they're going after that. I think we can't do everything at once. So you're aware of that. That is on our to-do list, is to and we talked, Barbie and I just talked about this in passing, and that was it.
So if I take care of my safety issue, I'm not going to get cited because I'm under a mandate from the court that anything that I do in the future, I have to have a permit. I mean, that's what the judge, he dismissed my case, but he said, make sure that you get a
You're not putting an addition on or an add-on.
No.
We're building a new structure. You're repairing an old structure.
I'm repairing
See, my understanding as far as the code,
You don't need a permit?
That's my understanding too.
As long as you're not taking a 12-foot porch and making it 25 feet.
No,
Yes.
I'm
If you're
just,
taking a 12-foot porch and keeping it a 12-foot porch,
yeah,
just repairing the old wood,
Yeah.
my understanding of reading those orders, you don't need a permit.
That's
Okay.
my
That's for if you're-
understanding too.
Building something new,
I was,
adding on an addition.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. If there is a roof being put on the porch, like even if there was a previous roof, because of the safety issue of the overhang, it has to have a permit.
It has to meet the code requirements, but my understanding is it does not have to meet, that you do not need a permit. I think we need to revisit that. We need to, we're in over our head right now. You need the ordinance in front of you, right?
yeah.
So
I agree.
let's table this now because we don't have the information in front of us.
I just wanted you to know I wasn't negligent. I've been
No.
trying to get,
We're not gonna come and jump on it, at least we aren't.
yeah.
And I don't know what the mayor will do. I can't speak for her.
No,
but-
she's been courteous about
Okay,
everything.
we're trying to make this workable. I don't want to have a war with anybody. We just want to get the basic things enforced. Simple
But
stuff.
your ordinance, if to speak to that is, you haven't delineated what kind of a notice. It could be just a letter.
Yes,
But
that's right.
my only argument was with the other tickets that they used to have, it never expressed any ordinance for what, and I asked to see the ordinances years before.
Well,
Miss-
that's the problem with the mayor's ordinance now. It doesn't list anything. I didn't even send it to these people. We're going to redo the whole thing.
194 is going to be done
Not
over.
194, the notice. 194, the ordinance itself is fine. It's broken down into these component articles. They're in good shape. These things are enforceable. We put some time into it and thought it out. Now, if things are bad, we can't amend things. We have the right to do that.
But
But this one should not need amended. We're looking at them one at a time. Did you guys have a chance to read this 420 at all? Yeah. Any complaints about the ordinance at all, what we're trying to do here?
No, because that was my understanding. We were more or less not worried about big things, but the people with
Yes.
track,
Yes.
the people with,
wouldn't it be wiser to do what the young lady had expressed, to create an ordinance for a ticket
Ticketing,
that delineates every one of those, and all they have to do is check off the ordinance that they're enforcing?
We can do the same thing. Look, here's the thing. We have to provide a notice. It will be just like that ticket. The difference is we have to put down, if you don't fix this, we then go right to a citation. So there's no ticketing involved, but we're gonna give the same type of notice that you would get with a ticket office. Exactly the same thing. We can delineate everything. We can have a whole bunch on one and check the one off. If you go through the whole ordinances, there's only probably a half dozen of them that are gonna fit under this, where you have the ticket and go out. You know what I mean? Have to read them all. We can't do them all at one time. So we just take this one and look at it. We can look at this whole ordinance. I don't know if you've read it before, from what you read it, obviously, it's okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Barbie, have you read the first part of this? Yeah. Kevin, any problem? Kathy? We've looked at these before. It's pretty basic.
Do we have what is, defined as an vehicle?
I think we do in the full.
Yeah, it's mentioned in one of the ordinances, it's mentioned on there, inspection, no license.
Okay.
Or if it has not been obviously like messed with in like 3 months and it's just sitting there, you know.
I tried to find
that.
I see that, so I'm like, thank you. When I was reading all that, there's something in
There's
there.
something.
There is,
About
I
it.
looked and I couldn't find it, and I said,
There
I know it's
is.
there.
And I know there is, and the reason for that is because quite a few people in town get these old vehicles and they restore them, but when they first get them, they're
Okay,
replaced.
you did see it, it is in the
It
ordinance.
is in there somewhere, I can.
I went through here and I looked and I said, am I going crazy? I remember doing
It
that.
is in there.
130?
I remember.
Okay, good enough.
Ordinance 130, or has it been thrown out?
Well, here, let me just bring up.
I mean, this codification, it sounds like you've eliminated all the old ordinances.
Almost all of them have been put in ordinance 194. Let me just find it. See what we're talking about.
I can definitely look at it if I find it, just highlight that part and email it, but I do remember it being discussed because
I do
of
too.
people having
I-
antique cars,
I just
race
couldn't-
cars, stuff like that. And I think it went based off of the period of how long it sat in one position and was not touched.
I thought,
This might be where I got it too. It's
What-
furniture,
what's the
board,
number?
coach, refrigerators, washers, dryers, and small appliances, carpets, tires, vehicles and vehicle parts, and automotive products. Is the only thing that I see.
okay,
And
that's
it.
in
That's
the
in
ordinance
your-
you're reading.
That's in your
420.
That's in 420. That's
Why
why.
don't you just run over and check.
Go ahead, go right ahead.
Well,
But basically, what I want to do is to know how this would print out if we bought the blanks.
well, there's a vehicle that's been here more than 25 years, and it's parts and still sitting there. And it's
Well,
never been, and I took it before the court when they came after me with 130.
All right, where we're at with this, just to answer your question, this 194.
See, and you put in section E of 422, you have vehicles. No junk or abandoned vehicles shall be parked on any property within the borough. But
I looked for that.
it, I, with some of what Jerry said, I think we're gonna have to be more specific as far as
Well,
it not having inspection, not having a
you see,
actual license plate, because the guy's car's inspected, and he has a license plate, he's entitled to be there whether it starts or not.
see,
That's correct.
There's the problem. I thought we had that in. And
See, I thought we
looked.
did too, but I wanted to double check and make sure.
I can't find it. And now, there's been a couple things, and it's been 6 years since we've done these ordinances. And I didn't look for the original on my computer, but I swear there were things, one was the parking ordinances, that they ended up in a way that we did not do them, we had that right to begin with, and I know we've talked about these vehicles at great length, and all I find is a sentence that says no junk vehicles.
Right, so, you know.
I don't know
My
what happened.
definition of a junk vehicle is gonna be different than.
Well,
your
yes,
definition.
and we had, Kathy, do you recall we had this?
Farm vehicles are exempt.
I don't know what to say about that. I'm like everybody else. I remember it, yet I cannot. I didn't read every ordinance real easily or real.
You mean there's another ordinance after
Kathy says
130?
Dayton knows where to find it.
Well, she can't. It has to be an ordinance 194. It has to be in this ordinance.
Okay.
Yeah, that replaced everything else. You can't go back to those old ordinances. They have been repealed whenever we replaced it with this. So if we don't have it in there, we have to put it in. We have to go through this whole thing again, which costs us money because you have to advertise it in 60 days.
Yes, sir. Well, this ordinance, this new 194, has it been tested?
It's been looked at by attorneys.
No,
Yes.
no, I mean, has any
No.
action gone to
No.
court?
Well, no, because we just now recently appointed enforcement officials
Yes.
to go do it.
Yeah.
As you said, we're still trying to revamp a ticket that is gonna be justifiable in the court, because that's what the problem we had before, none of our tickets was any good.
Right?
So there's no sense any of us rushing
No.
into something knowing that if we spend $65 in Houtzdale, it was
It was a waste.
a waste of money.
It was.
And I don't like wasting money. So when we have all them papers sitting here, we can honestly say that no matter who I go to in Coalport and hand them that ordinance and that piece of paper, it's gonna stick up later.
Yeah.
Then we don't look like idiots.
Right,
And the
that's
judge
what-
can't
that's what we're trying to
tell,
avoid.
the judge can't
Or
tell
pick.
you
Right. he
what you're
can't.
doing right or wrong.
I know. And that, that's the
Ex
biggest thing.
parte, you know, he's,
It's one step at a time. Everything's been so neglected for so long. We're not gonna change the world in a year.
That's right.
I don't, you're not gonna fix Coalport in a year.
but 130 was tested. And that means it went to court. And no ordinance is an ordinance until it's tested.
But you said it wasn't 130, there was the ones that didn't stand up,
Yeah.
Oh, it did.
or did.
Yeah. I had to move my vehicle.
Well, see, all
But
those are all
at the
gone
same
now.
time, the judge said, I have it all in manuscript form. He certified it by his seal and everything,
Well,
the testimony.
Jerry, Reverend, what we did is we looked at all those old ordinances and we just simply updated them. So whatever was in them is supposed to be in here, just amended, modified, simplified. It's just been amended.
You know,
It's just been made modern.
you've really
So these are
reduced it to
enforceable
just a
things.
few sentences. Like this one sentence that says a notice. It doesn't define what that notice is. It just says a notice. So it could be anything.
And that works for us. Now, here's the other thing we did. When we put these together, we took them from other municipalities. All of these ordinances have been reviewed by many, many attorneys all across the country. So they have all been tested in court. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We've borrowed from other municipalities. So they've been looked at, they've been tried in court almost verbatim here, and then our attorney also looked at this. We will win. If we have the proper procedure, we will win.
We're definitely gonna have to revamp it. We're gonna go after vehicles and we're gonna have to revamp
I
it.
couldn't find anything additional, but I know right before this was passed, I know we discussed
I
it
do
at
too.
length.
I swear these things have been
Just-
altered.
Just because, Mr. Evans was here at the time, Dr. was here at the time, and I remember them bringing up people who had gotten
I do
antique
too.
vehicles for this purpose.
I know-
I know it was discussed,
I do too.
but I
Judge
can't
ruled
find
against
anything
it.
additional.
There's several things that your memories, going back 6 years, memories are not perfect, but I swear this is a different document than we produced.
Can you bring the ordinance book in?
That was what I just checked within the actual ordinance book, and it says exactly this. But I remember
Well-
discussing it at length, so I'm
I
not
do
sure.
too. I looked for it myself, and I couldn't
We have
find
a
it.
copy of the old. I mean, there's some place, like Mary said, we're 130, all that, we
Yes.
can go back in and say, hey, this was defined then, why isn't it? You know,
Yes.
We do have the
Wherever-
old ones still, yes.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because that's another part of this
We-
enforcement thing. We can't go forward. I can't put something on an old rusted beat up car with no tires.
See,
when
we
there's
had
nothing here to cover why I'm
definitions.
doing it.
We
I
did.
know we
I-
had definitions,
I tend
and
to agree that we did.
I can't tell you what happened here.
Does ordinance 194 actually state that all previous ordinances are now void?
Yes, you have to look at the Borough Code. You have to look at sections 3301.5. And it tells you, they push you into codification. So you just follow that section of the code. And that's what we did. We put a lot of man hours into this.
Yeah.
And
Because
and
if you
all
don't,
these-
if your codification did not address that in length, then 130 is still valid.
It's not valid. None of those, everything that's been, anytime you amend an ordinance, it goes away. So these new ones take their place, whether they're flawed or not.
But I will stand corrected, but I like to see that ordinance again in the book, what you have.
Yeah, you can do that. You,
194.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you can read all the stuff you're talking about. If you read this ordinance from beginning to end, it will address most of these issues. Yeah, those of us that have been around here, I agree, there's something wrong.
It had been discussed. I can look on a computer because when it was still in the stages before it was adopted and
You
they
would
were
still
making
have that.
changes, I would still have.
That's what
So
I
can
don't
kind of look
have.
back
I'm
through
aware of
and
the street
see.
signs.
This should be the most updated one, but it's fairly possible.
That's what I would say is happened. Yeah,
I
I
can
know.
look at I'll start at the older copies and kind of work up through and see if it was ever in there at any point.
It had to be in there. I know we discussed this.
I
This was so
remember
long.
discussing it,
If
but
Jerry had to move his car, and that was back so many years, we'll have to keep bringing Jerry up, but since he's here, I'm not gonna talk about nobody else, you don't mind, so. And he had to move his car, so obviously it should have been more specific back then.
Yeah, it
This
had,
right now-
it had to be put in the garage. It's in my garage. It's an antique. It's a 1960 Corvair.
Well, here's the
What is
deal. They're not.
A 1960 Corvair.
Corvair. Like my dad.
That was the first one out.
60.
We will have to do that.
That
Yes.
section under where it's
Yes.
specifically
Little
says
shifter up top.
Yes.
on
We're
the
gonna have to
dash.
define what-
Yes.
A little shifter on the
That's
dash.
exactly
Yeah.
right.
But I had a manual.
Yeah,
I
otherwise.
don't have it, the guy's gonna say, well, I'm fixing it.
Right,
You're right.
I-
That's-
I'm doing what you're telling me to do, I'm trying to get it on the road.
I'm like you. I would have sworn. I said that.
and
show
the
that.
reason I
Where's this?
remember discussing it was because originally they were gonna go off of if it was inspected. The
Yes.
problem with that is antique cars don't have to be
Yep.
inspected, so you don't
Well,
want
we
to roll in
talked about
someone's
inspections,
antique because it wasn't-
registrations.
yeah.
We talked about this at great length.
Antiques,
Not once they're so old, they don't.
Yeah.
Well, the old ordinance said it had to be in a shelter, so I said, can I put a canopy over it? Is that a shelter? And the judge ruled against him. It had to be in a building,
out of sight.
out of sight.
Yeah, well, we want to make the whole thing sensible as well.
Right.
We don't want to hassle the guy that's restoring some old vehicle.
Right. In Santone Road, are you gonna tell if a guy says, well, I'm restoring it, and 3 years down the
Nothing
road,
happens.
the only thing he's
Right.
ever done was painted the door.
Right.
I'm still restoring
Yep.
it. So, I
It could
agree
take, it could take
with
10
Mr.
years.
Fletcher.
Yes.
There needs to be something in there that it needs to be undercover, indoors, out of sight.
Out of sight.
Well, we have multiple tasks here ahead of us, is what it amounts to. We have to prepare this ordinance, and we have to figure out what our procedure is going to be.
So you have to write a new ordinance to correct an ordinance.
We just have to amend it. You don't have to write, do all of 194, you just do Article 420, for example, you just add some stuff, run it in the paper.
I'll look tomorrow at the older copies and see what I can
Okay.
find. Just keep in mind, not everybody has a garage. You
I
might have
know.
to settle with just having it covered because they don't have a garage.
The only thing is, once you
Not a
start
lot.
settling,
Yeah, I know.
I agree with you, okay? There is, but once you start settling, now you got a guy that's got a blue tarp sitting on Main Street,
Yeah,
or
now
a
you're worse
car.
off, right?
We're worse off,
Yes,
it's a car.
Yep.
You don't, out of sight, period, it's gonna be in the building.
yeah.
You're gonna work on it, it needs to be, I mean, there's a fine line to everything, and if we're gonna do this, then you have to draw that line and say, this is what works for everybody. And I think as soon as you start tarping stuff, then you're gonna get guys that have all the car and the refrigerator and the stove and everything, he's gonna put a tarp over it.
Right.
What problem you solved, except for now you're looking at a blue tarp?
I have pictures I was gonna bring in of Mr. Roop's vehicle parts out in the open. Been there more than 25 years. And so this is what you're gonna get, that there's selective enforcement. And there was a statement made in council that the mayor only enforces certain things because she's afraid of others. That's stuck in my mind. That, you can't do that. You just can't do that.
Well, the rest of this ordinance, I believe we can enforce. The only thing that's going to give us trouble right now,
Doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make any difference.
well, we just want to enforce that section right now because we can't until we fix it. This ordinance is a legal ordinance, it is
Right.
enforceable.
We just
You
know
would-
if we
you
go
might
after
lose on the
vehicles,
vehicle.
we gotta do something about the
Right, so we will fix that. And what, the other thing we may want to do is just ask the attorney what, if we're just adding something to it, if we're adding a definition, we have to run the whole ordinance in the paper.
I can email it tomorrow to.
Yes, we may not have to go through the whole song and dance here, that's what I'm hoping. But basically, that's just.
I mean, surely you can do an amendment.
Yes.
Until the next time, if you revamp your article, and then you've got to add that amendment.
We probably can. The worst case scenario is you have to advertise the amendment that you made.
Right.
And that, yes.
Drop the amendment instead of.
And how much
saying
that costs us?
It depends. Like I said, they charge per inch, not really per like
Give
line
me
or
a
anything.
ballpark
So
figure.
I would say around $30. If
All right.
we,
So that,
you know,
that's
really
the
put
worst
it
case
together.
scenario. It's going
If
to cost us
the attorney says
$30.
an amendment, like I said,
Yeah.
I know in prison we do a lot of amendments. I'm sure with some kind of way we could just do an amendment.
No, I would caution you all to look at the borough code. Used to be 108, but it's now 3,000, I believe.
Yes,
So
301.
you have to create another ordinance,
No.
new number, to amend an ordinance by law.
Yes, that's right. That's what you're doing. When you're amending, you can amend this. We'll have our lawyer do that. Worst case, we can amend this. I'm absolutely certain we can add the magic language, run it in the paper, pass it here, it'll be amended, and it'll stand up in court. We'll win. We will win on everything here but the vehicles. So let's forge ahead. We can't fix the junk vehicles right now, but the rest of this. So it comes down, which means you could actually still go out and enforce Article, what is this, 420, everything that Section E. You can't do, which is the junk vehicle. We've got to leave that alone for the moment. So then we're back to, let's just go back down to 420.99 and work our way through this and come up with our procedure, since we can't fix the ordinance right now, that part of the ordinance. The rest of this, we do a lower.
So you're saying E is the only thing that talks about junk vehicles?
Well, appears to be.
up in A, it mentions it for vehicles, vehicle parts, tires, and automotive products, but that's it. Other than down at E.
So the vehicles part, we're going to have trouble with, which is E.
And I know Armoni used to have it that if you moved it every 3 months, it wasn't considered abandoned, which is kind of
Yeah,
insane
we're not
because it
gonna
only
play
had to
that, yeah.
move like an inch. So
Right.
people would just push it, you know,
Right.
every 2 months they'd go out and push their car forward 2 inches, and then Armoni couldn't really do anything about it.
They didn't have any ordinances. Because it wasn't in an ordinance book.
Vermont didn't have ordinances?
No, they sent me a notice on, with the citation from a borough code. And I said, I want to see your ordinance books. And I went into their building and they had them laying all out. And I said, they're not in an ordinance book. And none of they had no ordinance at all. They do now, because I have pictures of it all.
Let's work our way through this. So what we have, we're all in agreement, we want to make the door hanger type thing. So what we have to have, and that's just a notice, it has to identify the property. So we would need an address on it. So it has to list all violations. So right now, we're just talking about 420. So it would say, Ordinance 194, Article 420, and then we go down and it would say maybe C, weeds. So that would, and I figure we can also give them a copy of the ordinance at the same time.
We do a door hanger, just the same thing, but it's not. If we did a door hanger, then we know who, and it's not here tonight, so why can't, on the front of the ticket, have the information as far as address and the ordinance and everything else, and on the back of the ticket have a copy of
Of the ordinance
ordinance that we're
itself.
enforcing. Now, no matter what you do, even if we took a yellow highlighter
There
with
you
us
go, that's
and
what I was saying.
highlighted the actual ordinance on the back of it,
And if you highlighted weeds, for example,
We
if you're
highlighted
there,
weeds.
you put a yellow marker through that.
that way, that part of it, no matter where you go, when he takes that ticket into the magistrate, there is the ordinance, and there's his ticket, all on one piece of paper.
And I
That should be
think
covered.
most of them will just be paid, because if we do this right, they're gonna know, they're going
Yeah,
to
I'm-
lose, and now there's extra costs, it's like getting a speeding ticket. And sometimes it's just cheaper to pay the damn ticket than fight it. So that's what I'm thinking, we're not gonna end up with magistrates that often. Most of this stuff is clear cut, and they're gonna lose. You can go there with the camera and take some photographs. If they clean it up, great. That's the objective anyway, that's what you want.
Right, and we already said, you know, if they made the.
Yeah, and we can be real flexible here. You know, they can say, look, wait, the borough's gonna have cleanup day in May, can you give me until then, or I can get some of this stuff. Why not do that? No,
I
I don't-
totally agree, we ought to be as.
We're just flexible, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
As far
let's
as-
get the job done.
Yeah,
It
because I
doesn't
did
have to
notice
be
that there's
done.
some things that are disappearing down in town. There was a truck there full of trash, and trash is all gone.
It's going.
So maybe some of the word's getting around.
We mean business.
Brought up by our board.
But I think we could win everything but the junk vehicles, and that which is considerable.
Just to bring it up, we're gonna enforce all this, what does our building down there look like?
Oh, that Taj Mahal.
The Taj Mahal, because
That's right. That's a
it's
very
something
good
else of
point.
mine, and I'm gonna, you know, it's just, I don't wanna get downtown, and I'm gonna use Mr. Spade again, because he's here, that way nobody can say I'm talking about him. I don't wanna get down and tell Mr. Spade that he has things laying all around his building,
When we
and
have
when
the
Mr.
same,
Spade can walk up there and point at the Taj Mahal and say,
Right.
what's this stuff?
we should be held at the
We
same
have to
standard.
clean up our own mess first.
Right.
Before we go.
Yes,
Before we point, you know, because that's the last thing I want is, well, why is it?
that, right.
Because it does look
And
like
that's
that.
valid. That's valid.
You know, I mean, up here, things look organized, but,
Yeah,
you know, it's gonna be hard to hand out tickets for abandoned vehicles and trash, and
Well,
you
we
look
do
at
the
the
same
Taj Mahal, and
well, even that dumb trailer that we have out there, is that any different than an abandoned vehicle?
That's the one that, Mr. Spade made an offer to purchase and we didn't have the title, so. I don't know.
we insured a trailer, we
We
don't
don't
know how
even
to.
know. Yes,
I mean, there's only one thing you can do with that,
junk it, I guess.
take it to the
Yes.
junkyard, whatever you get,
Yeah,
get a
couple
slip
bucks
for it.
for it.
The gentleman has been there since 2010, so at this point, even contacting anybody else that might have the title, I think is gonna be
Yeah,
slim
we
to
have
none.
more money in that than we think that we're gonna get. So maybe we should decide that, we already have, let's get rid of that thing.
My offer still stands.
You want it?
Yeah, I made an offer of $200 and they said I had one, but, you know.
So where do we
Bring
take the
that
vote
up.
on that? Because
Yes.
I'm more than happy to vote that if Mr. Spade wants to
I
get rid of some
am
of our
too.
junk, we're willing to pay you $200 for it. That's $200 in the birth bar.
And it's under the $1,000
Oh,
limit,
look.
so right there, those guys can decide, so you and
We
Joe
can do-
just.
Joe was cautious. He didn't want to do anything without having the title. That was his argument.
It's
So
not
that's-
ours,
So,
let it,
Jared, Mr. Spade's gonna pay us $200 to remove that trailer.
I'm,
I'm all for Mr.
Me
Spade
too.
paying me $200 to remove, pay the borough $200 to remove that trailer.
Okay, but-
I'm not selling it to him.
Well,
And when we can vote on the meeting, but
okay. I was gonna say, watch what we do here, because this is a workshop.
I know, but we've given management, remember the ordinance that we passed, anything under $1,000, they can sell it without coming. Now, yes. Now they're supposed to advertise, I suppose, since they already have
I
it.
thought we already
We had
advertised
advertised
it.
it.
Yeah, and Mr.
Okay.
Spade
Spade put in his
If
offer.
he's already done
And
that, what's the problem then? I don't think, the board doesn't have to do anything, you guys do it, sell it to them, is that all right with you? You
well,
do it?
Joe was concerned about titling
Not being in our name.
and you're giving up, you know, what are you doing? Giving me a bill of sale for something that you don't own? That's
Well, we
the
don't
problem.
own it.
Yeah. It was some,
Possession's 90% of the law, we've had it long enough, who was registering the thing, had plates?
I don't know how we got insured.
This borough?
But-
It was insured, we were doing all that,
you were running it without license?
no, it had
we had
plates.
plates, that's what I can't figure out.
I can't either.
Was somehow you have registration, don't you?
We do, but I don't know how because the title is not in our name.
Yes, but you know what? It sure does.
Well, if you have a registration plate,
There's ways to work it. Like I said, Mr. Spade is offered to pay a borough $200 to haul out our
Wait.
necessary junk.
You're not getting any opposition from me.
We're not selling him the
Yeah.
trailer. He is offering to give us $200 to get rid of some of our junk.
If it helps, we could always just type up a small agreement between the borough and Mr. Spade stating that he's aware we don't have the title and that, you know.
Get it off of our hands as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
We'll appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you. Let's continue on here then with what we need. All right, we have to identify the property. That would be an address. List of violations, that should be simple enough on our ticket. If we buy blanks, we can deal with more than one ordinance. Just once you have it made up one time, you would just have to print that
Just run a
particular.
copy.
Right, you got all that. From what you see, you think you can, if you monkey around, you can figure it out.
Yeah, I think so. I know Joe was looking into getting a grant to get a newer printer. I can
Okay.
honestly say that
Well,
would probably
You
help.
might just have to buy a printer. You have to have that stuff to run a business.
You
So
do.
there's budgeting. Buy a damn printer.
The current one,
Get rid of it. Just, that's up to management as well. Get a printer, we will approve it. All right, now here's if you keep reading through this, let's see, list all violations, provide recommendations. That's kind of a tricky one there. I'm not exactly, now the way some of these other debt provided recommendations just by saying, give us a written plan and we'll deal with it. Just, we gotta brainstorm that. That's in our ordinance. We're supposed to provide recommendations. Now you're gonna go and meet with them. And I suppose you could work something out. You could ask them, oh, how are you gonna get rid of this? What are you gonna do?
Right.
In that context,
Any idea that,
yeah, so I would solve the problem myself. You make me solve it.
Like I said, some of the bulk stuff, I've already talked to Mr. Spade, he said, I'm gonna give him his phone number and say, hey, he buys this kind of junk. You want rid of most of it, call Mr. Spade.
Yes, yes.
He's one of the guys that
There's a
Coalport has advertised, and so why not use it to solve some of these guys' problems? You can't afford to haul it away. I'll be honest, some of these cars, if a guy would at least give me gas money, I'd put one back in my truck.
Yeah, haul it away. But I think that something we have to put something like that on this notice, since it's in our ordinance here. So we need to find some magic language, something simple. So just don't think about it. We don't have the answer right now, but you know what I mean? We need
Which part of it?
the provide recommendations part, and then goes on and to allow a reasonable time. You can do that, I think the way I had that set up.
It's like she said the night that she was here, like she gives them numbers for like different agencies that could help with, you know, their issues, whatever their issues were. She was prepared to give them aid to get done what they needed to get done. Just like Helen was saying.
Again, this is real crude.
So it's for the Borough of Coalport. The address, I'm assuming it's the address in which we're giving a notice. The date and time of the notice. You have so many days, blank day, comply with this notice. Non-compliance will result in $100 fine plus cost.
That's what it
And
says
then
here.
officer would be mine or the
Yes.
signature. You are in violation of ordinance 194, Article 42002, maintenance of exterior property areas, sections. And then we're gonna go into whether it's sanitation, insect and rat control, weeds, public nuisance, or vehicles. Like I
So
said,
he can check them off.
Check
right
them
there,
off.
just with a check mark.
And when we
Now,
say,
there's the rough part here is we haven't, I don't know, the recommendation part. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's in our
Something-
ordinance.
well, can't we just recommendation and then leave a blank line and then
And write it
maybe
in.
as me and Joe talk to them,
Make a little note.
we'll make a little note.
It's problem solved.
You know, this is what we recommend.
Okay, and here's the other thing. If you find out this isn't working, we'll fix it. We'll amend it.
Right.
This is a starting point
Because-
for us.
I guess under the public nuisances, well, we're gonna go with the washers, the dryers, the refrigerators. You know, as far as that.
Yeah, that would be B.
Part
Let's
of
see.
it, you take it.
Well,
Is it
it's
specifically-
up under A. Isn't there A here, sanitation?
Sanitation.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that is specifically listed up there, small appliance, carpets, tires,
And then
vehicles.
that's,
So most of it will be A or
we could write that right on, refrigerator, deep freeze, whatever. in front of you.
Well, okay, yeah, so you can even put time frame, so the guy agreed to get rid of this within 15 days, or whatever you agree
Right.
upon, write it down there,
Yeah, or, he took Mr. Spade's number and said he'd call him and have him come pick it up.
okay. And you put that on there,
And I apologize for using your name over and over again, but you're here.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna,
No, I
And if
will,
they
I will
don't-
pick up, I don't pay anything for it,
Right,
I pick it up.
pick it up.
it'll be,
Right.
explain to him
So
it's free of
then
charge.
you're saying, that person does not call. He says, you write that down, he's gonna call by such and such a date. If he hasn't done that, then you go back and now we have trouble.
Right.
Say, we're being cited now.
Now we'll have to go with the ticket after.
Well,
Yes.
there are some, remember, when you took an oath, you would uphold the Constitution of Pennsylvania. Any refrigerator that has a door on it, that is a criminal offense, and the state police will cite you for that.
There's one right in my neighborhood.
That's against the
You can
law.
get rid of, I know it is, it's against our ordinances and it's against the state law.
I mean,
That you
if
can get rid of a refrigerator, right?
yes, sir.
Calls you?
I mean, but it's unlawful to have a.
You gotta take the doors off. It
Right,
specifically
that's right.
says, the law states that you
Yes,
have to
because
have the
kids
doors
get in there.
removed.
Yeah, it's a safety issue.
Do you want to see this, Barbie? You're cold?
But your ordinance is so broad. I can see junk vehicles on properties that you're not going to cite. They have a fence, but I can see them. So, I mean, the judge will look at this. He has broad discretion.
Well,
He
he doesn't.
can-
Here's what I can tell you, this is what I've already told you. All of these, we did not reinvent the wheel. We've copied these from other municipalities. They have been challenged in court and they won, which is why I put them in this ordinance, so I knew we would win. I'm not gonna start from ground zero, that would just be dumb. So this thing has been tested all across the United States. Every municipality has basically the same ordinances. Now, the big ones have more, but they all have these basic ordinances that we have.
Well, just
And I
like,
just borrowed from them. Their
But-
solicitor reviewed them, they were challenged in court and they won.
so if I have a vehicle that's not licensed, not inspected, but I'm going to sell it, would I get a citation?
I think we're gonna try to apply common sense here if we can.
You got a for sale sign on it? Obviously, it's gonna be one of them deals where you
Yeah.
give them those 10 days, hey, you got 10 days to fix the problem. If you sell the car within 10 days, problem solved. If not, then I recommend you cover it.
Well, the issue I brought up a few minutes ago, counselor told me that the excuse that he's using for 25 years is he's selling it.
Well, that isn't I inquired about that, and my understanding is it's actually registered. We're talking about Jack and his trailer. Supposedly, he registers that thing year after year after year. That's what I heard. I
Well, he
don't
might
know
have
if that's
permanent
true.
license on it, but I mean, what about the axles that are there and?
I don't see. I've never even seen the thing, to be honest.
I haven't
with you.
seen
So
it
I don't know
either.
anything about it. I just know what I've heard.
Yeah, I thought he
Everyone
grew
does
up in
complain
I haven't
about
been
that.
down there in years, I don't drive that back street.
It's
for
never
anything.
changed since I was taken to court.
Here's the thing, borough councilors do not get a free pass. That's all I can say.
Once we start with the vehicle stuff, I'm going around,
And if it's me and I'm the president, you gotta come to my
I
house.
gotta go to his house, say, hey, we need to do something.
And that's it.
Well, all these I had pictured and showed the judge, and his statement was, and it was on, it's in a court hearing, and it's all on transcript, that there was so many blatant issues that he just asked me to move the vehicle and there was no charge. I was dismissed. But the judge does have broad discretion.
Again, I'm not too worried. I'm really
No,
not.
I mean,
We
you
do
go to that
this
point,
stuff.
on a given day, you don't know what kind of mood any judge is gonna be in.
Yes.
So he's liable to say, wait a minute, this poor guy, he says he's gonna move it, we're gonna move it, and there's nothing we can do about it,
And
because he
most of this isn't going to the judge.
No.
People are gonna, it's just like if you get a speeding ticket, you jump up and down, you pay it, because it's just cheaper to pay the damn
We're
thing,
just
so you
looking
do.
let's look on the bright side, if any people
Yes.
just pay attention to the notice, clean it up.
That's most likely it. But I think we have to be prepared to go the distance, and I think we will. I don't think we're in too bad a shape, so we just keep working. All right, we know what we're gonna put on that ticket, so we're pretty much done there.
That, and a copy of this on the back.
Yes, yeah, whatever ordinance it is.
We have to get this made up.
What we're gonna do is, I think you can get blanks, like in red, so we wanted red.
Yeah,
We all
probably
agree on that?
again, I would say.
Red looks cool.
Red
Do you
looks
know what I
okay,
mean?
right, you're gonna notice it when you open
Yes.
the door off the night.
Yes, yes, so we'll get red, blanks, just blanks, and then we will do the writing. Once she has it in her computer, we can have this for a half dozen different ordinances. She can pick the ordinance, just print it out on the red door hanger, give it to these guys. They can go out, and hopefully they're gonna see the guy face to face. Is this the goal, to pop these things over? You know, if you don't, you put it on the door. Take a photograph of it so you can say we served it. All that sounds okay, right, so far? So far, so good? All right, let's just keep forging ahead. It says down here the penalty, $100 fine, we'll put that on there, $100 fine plus costs. And again, if we give them a copy, we can highlight that, what the penalty is, so there's some incentive here to clean up the mess. Because if you pay the fine, you're not off the hook. We'll just come back the next day and start over. So we're going to have to clean up the mess. Now, did you see number? Shall we move on to number C? We have for letter C. We are all right with A and B. So the next part gets kind of interesting here. If the borough can correct the violation, that's $300 administrative fee. That part C is pretty nasty. You know, if anybody pushes that far. So then I guess then it comes back, if we're going to go to the magistrate, that means you have to document and find out everything you do. So we end up there, and I've been thinking we have some photographs with this ordinance, everything with the junk, I think we'll do. Junk car. Right.
Once this is on the back, I don't have any problem until we get to the vehicle aspect. Like I said, until we revamp that to where it's more specific on what constitutes a junk vehicle. So that these guys that are claiming that, you know, because they bought a 1938 Buick that was all rusted laying in somebody's barn, they can't leave it sit on Main Street.
All we have to do is come up with a good definition, a working definition, and we put it in definitions, right in this article. That'll be done. We'll have to find, that's what, do you know what you're asking? If we write a definition, do we
Yes,
have to
we have to
advertise?
advertise it.
I suspect we will not, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It's just-
I will find out.
Any idea how long before we can put something in writing?
We're actually pretty close. We've appointed the officers.
Right.
We have to get those red door hangers. Do you want to look into that or what?
Yeah. I can look into that tomorrow. I know some
Okay.
places we can look. Like I said, Demco's one. They do a lot of stuff with like libraries and municipalities. They usually have like ticket paper.
Okay,
and
you already
stuff.
have an idea what you're looking for. I just looked online and I found a whole bunch. It didn't look to be expensive.
They're
You
not.
could
They're
get
pretty
500
inexpensive.
for $20 or something like that. And I can't think to use all that many really.
I hope not.
Yeah, right. Hope to solve the problem. Any other comments on this? Pretty much. An idea what we're doing here, right?
Pretty well hashed out. It's just putting the pieces together and then sitting here and saying, okay, this is everything, and let's get it done.
Where does it say anything about warnings? It sounds like you're going to ticket them, they're done. They're
No, there's
bang,
no
they're
ticket.
gonna
No,
have.
that's, they're
No, it's the notice. There's a notice first.
Mhm.
It says
Okay,
right in
that-
the ordinance.
That notice is gonna tell you what your problem is and what you need to do, recommendations to correct it, and what can happen if you don't. Then it comes into the ticket for the $100 fine, then you're gonna be ticketed. It's actually gonna be two separate things.
Here's-
4099A
Right.
states, a notice shall be given.
Right,
Yeah,
here's
we have to
what
give
it
you a
says.
notice.
But that doesn't say how many days
We can put
comply?
that in. That's up to us. It says reasonable time.
Reasonable time's what it says.
So that means we can put the number and we can talk with you and come to an agreement, put that on here. You have 10 days to comply. And here's what it says of what we have on this ticket. It says non-compliance will result in a $100 fine plus cost, because that's what the ordinance says.
I mean, what is the max time we're gonna give somebody? 10 days? 2 weeks?
I think they have to use their discretion. I think if somebody, if you're convinced that they need a month, I think that's up to you to give them. That seems long to us, but I say leave it up to those guys.
With myself and Joe, we're reasonable enough people to understand that, you know, if the guy says, I'm gonna call Jerry, and I'll get back to you when he can get it out of here. And say, Mr. Spade's busy, so he tells him, well, I can't do it till this day, which is 2 weeks away. Now, should we find that guy because
No.
because he's actually made contact.
Right.
So, I don't know,
He's
we had said
taken
before on
steps.
that, right, the steps. Now, on that, one of the tickets that she had, maybe we could add it to this,
Yes.
is about them notifying us.
That's what we should put on there, something like that. Now, I was a little confused. She had a plan. You have to submit a plan within 5 days.
Yeah.
What you plan on doing
Do we
to
want
rectify the problem.
do we want that?
And I think if we're gonna give somebody a leeway,
We want to see that they're just not jerking us around, though. You know,
Right.
buying time. We have to see some progress.
because again, legally, that'll all have to be in there somewhere that says, you know, that we gave them this many days
Yes,
to
you
come up
have
with
to
the
keep
problem,
good records.
come up with a solution. After that, then, you know, they had this many, and now they're fine.
And they can sign it. You can make them sign it. Sign the action plan.
Now, the tickets we're doing, are we talking about writing two? One for them, one for us? Or are we keeping a log of what
We need
tickets
a
we have
record.
out?
We need it.
What's legal, what's gonna be legally, doing like having a logbook that says, on this date was issued this ticket for this? Is that gonna be legal, or should we have a copy of the actual ticket?
You might be able to get the kind of tickets to have the yellow page after and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
top
that's
one.
what-
That's what we've used for the parking before. I don't know.
When
if you
I
get
was
one.
parking control officer years ago, I had a carbon copy.
Yeah,
When
that's
I
what
got the original, and then the ticket was underneath and it clicked off and
Yeah.
stuck to the car.
And you might be able to find something like that for, I mean, what we have right now is for parking only, but you might be able to find one for other violations.
This first, however, this was just a notice.
Yes,
What you're
right,
giving
right.
out. But you still want, I think, your photograph or something. You do need something.
Are you,
You need some type of reference.
They got a notice on this day.
Yes.
Keep that in the records, you know, then they.
Yeah, I don't know that
they
you have to have a carbon copy though to make it legal, is what I'm saying. You want to minimize your work too.
It'd be nice to have
Right,
something with her
but
signature on it.
Right,
We
but
could-
even a ticket log, I mean,
Well, like Kathy said, a ledger, we had a ledger.
a ledger, right, just one of them
You
green
just-
logbooks or
He just
something.
brought up another point. Should the person sign this notice? You're not bringing it back. You're giving
I'm not
notice
bringing
to
it
them,
back,
right?
so-
So they don't need to sign that. But they need to sign something like an action plan. Maybe. I mean, if you can just work it out with me, why
Why go through all the hassle?
Yes.
I'm just,
yeah.
so the only other thing I can think of is if we're gonna just, a notice, then obviously me and Joe have to figure out some type of logbook, or where we went that day, and who we gave notices
And
to.
you know what else? This is going to evolve. Since we've never done this before, we're going to fall into pitfalls, right? Read that for me.
That is
Right,
what
that's what the picture's for, I mean, I
Yes.
don't know what kind of,
Camera,
I have a.
camera, a phone, whatever.
Borough has a
Yeah.
digital camera.
Yeah.
And it has several batteries. I mean, if you know, hey, I'm gonna be giving notices and say, you stop up here, I can give you the camera.
Why don't we just start and we'll find out what pitfalls we fall into, and then we will fix those things so we don't keep making, we just won't keep making the same mistake. But we're going to make mistakes. We've never done this before.
am I going to be able to go to an appeals board?
No, there'll be no appeal. Your appeals board will be the magistrate.
So my constitutional rights have been
No,
denied.
they have not. You go to the magistrate. That's your appeals board. It's like you don't get to go to an appeal when you get a traffic violation. The appeals board is the magistrate.
Okay.
And that's how we're set
She
up.
had mentioned that if you're going to do.
We don't have that system though.
Yeah.
Where with, if we were giving tickets and doing all that, we would probably need some type of board. But so the only appeal here, if you don't like it, go to the magistrate. But we're going to go. These are going to be airtight for us. Why go after anything that's marching? Take the photographs. Excuse me.
Hey, I'm
Yeah, I really think that appeals board, because then you get up there and you get people, well, yeah, I don't think we ought to get into that.
I don't know, I don't think, the way
Yeah,
we're
we
doing it,
give
there's
them
no
those.
provision, let the judge
We're
decide.
willing to work with Guy and let him pick how long it's gonna take to clean it up, and say it's gonna be cleaned
Yes,
up.
look,
You can't
It's
be
like-
much,
it's like getting a traffic. Usually, if you're wrong, you're just gonna pay the fine, and these people are going to be wrong. Most of these are pretty clear. If your grass is 10 inches high, that's pretty darn clear. Cut the grass, that's the solution, otherwise you can get $100 fine. Anybody in their right mind would cut the grass, I would think. The junk gets a little more interesting there. This gets off on a little bit of a tangent. A lot of the people, that woman mentioned this, they do not have garbage service. So they throw their garbage on their property. If you tell my neighbor he has to get rid of his garbage, what it'll do then is burn it. They'll burn all that plastic, and so now we kind of created a worse problem, or they'll gather it up and throw it in the township.
but you know you have an ordinance against that too.
We do have an ordinance, yes, we do have other ordinances. No, I'm saying don't try their best to manipulate and maneuver. They'll dump it in the township at night. You know, they'll get rid of it, but not in a way that we might. And then that takes us to her point, that we have to look into that too, is getting one garbage hauler for the whole borough, which we're not equipped to do right now. Hate that idea.
You realize the only people who's gonna pay for that, no matter how we do it, is the people who keep their stuff clean.
Ashes. A lot of people do.
That's something you can always work into the agreement.
With the garbage hauler.
Yeah, with the ashes.
Yeah. And we have to raise taxes to do that.
I see the borough hauling ashes away from private individuals. Do they pay the borough to do that?
I think they just use those ashes on the road, do
That's
they
what
not,
I
in the
was
winter
thinking.
time?
It might be if you want to get rid of your ashes, like I say, that ain't gonna work either, have it centralized there, and you can bring it to us, but then you get.
Well, you're already, look what's happening down here, you see that dump, people are still dumping all kind of stuff there, pretty soon it's out into the creek there, the Myers Run, and
Who determines, what determines,
So, yeah.
since it was brought up, so I gotta know, what determines whose ashes are getting picked up? Because,
I don't know,
you know,
I know,
if she wants her ashes picked,
and they're not, yeah. Do
Larry,
they get yours?
and I've heard
Okay.
Larry Radcliffe say, "Why ain't nobody ever picking up my ashes?" I told
Yes,
him,
yeah,
and they said that he has too many clunkers.
okay. They did tell me that there's certain type they don't want. with
Because
those
he
clunkers.
burns that bad coal and
Right.
it's
And it messes up their stuff in the back of
Oh,
the truck there, that,
the thing that
yeah,
throws it out.
auger, whatever it is.
That's, you know, there's another fine line. If it finally comes down to it, and somebody does raise Cain, then you're gonna have to determine who picked up what ashes and what, because
Equitable. It has to be equitable. If you pick it up for one, you gotta pick it up for all.
it's eventually gonna bite us.
That's
So
a,
I just heard about that. I just heard about that about a month ago, but I really think, you know, we picked their, so,
That is a valid point, that you can't run it through their equipment.
the equipment because of the clunkers. Like I said, and I just heard about this a month ago, and since it came up, I'm just gonna, how are we justifying doing one and not the other? Ashes, you know, your definition
On
of
the
ashes
one
are
hand,
ashes,
the borough needs them, that's what they used to put on the roads.
and on the other hand is, why
I
are we,
know, doing it for this guy and not this guy.
you know, I'm paying $20 to get mine hauled out, and
Right,
then you're
he's
coming
getting
around
his
and
out
picking my
free. neighbors
neighbors up for nothing.
Well, I guess we could also have in there too that clunkers have to be try to get, you know.
I really think it probably sounded good at the time. I just think that sooner or later with the right person, it's gonna bite us because somebody's gonna come up and say, what are you getting out of this? That you're picking up his ashes and not mine. I'm paying $20 to haul mine.
Right, you're saving that guy money. His ashes should
We're
be
actually
good.
spending taxpayers' money to go pick
Yes.
the ashes up.
correct. That's why I brought it up.
I just, you know,
Are
for
they
some-
paying? Yeah, you have to pay you.
This is before my time.
I
I
know.
just heard about it.
Well, I'm with few on that, I don't know what to say about it.
You go through your-
On the one hand, the one
Use
use is
if
the
you want to
ashes
pick
that we
Use is
get.
the ashes, but
at least
I
let
know,
the
but see
clusters
the
out
point.
for us.
All right,
That's
do you
all
have a
we
solution?
ask.
no, I
Neither
don't.
do
Like
I.
I said, unless there's, and if you come to a charge thing, I mean, even if it's as minimum as possible,
Does DEP approve of you putting,
You actually
Ashes?
can, I actually looked that up, yes.
Wow.
Somebody complained and you can do it.
I'm surprised.
I mean,
I was too.
if, I don't know.
I mean,
Like I said, unless you do a small charge and say that they have to be a fine ash.
that would be great. Put in there, yeah.
and
On our discretion, if we know.
The discretion part's the tough
The
part.
discretion part is the tough
You
part.
violated, yeah.
I don't care a bit about it, anybody's ashes, okay? That's not the issue, because they don't pick up mine,
Yeah.
and I don't
Right
care,
here, I'm the same
okay?
way.
And I would even now at this point ask you to. I'm just saying that only because I've heard it now, and now it was brought up here today, what determines whose ashes get picked up and why?
We probably don't want to make too fine a point on that because it hurts the borough in the end.
It
That's going
hurts
to
the
cost
borough in the
everybody more to
Right?
buy more salt or whatever to put on the road.
And I totally agree. It saves us money, but you can't. There's another one of those stations. You can't pick and
Well,
choose when you're running a
in a
borough.
way you can. You can't be, sometimes you just can't be fair. Life
Right.
isn't fair.
Life isn't fair. I said that you're going to get away with it until.
Yes, well, what are they going
I
to
know.
do? You know?
Well, we have a Clean Air Act. We're violating that with all these coal burners. They should do just like I am. I'm geothermal. There's
Well,
no
the
burning in
borough's
my
the
house.
biggest polluter in the borough. With this whole equipment that we
Yeah.
have,
There's one that probably beats you.
there might be one,
And I can
yeah.
see why he's got all these
Yeah.
concrete, okay?
Yep.
Like I said, there could be a point, just to say, as it has been pointed out, hey, separate your clunkers from your fine ash and we'll pick up your fine ash.
And we probably still don't need it from everybody though. It's the
No.
problem. Then we get
That's
too
the
much.
problem.
then
We're
we
gonna have
take
too
it.
much.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a system now that seems to work. They seem to get the right amount of ash.
And it's, you know,
We don't have a solution to that, but I also know that the law is often applied selectively. A good example, 10 cars speeding in the cop will pull one over. Why'd you pick me? Yeah, that's life.
and that's,
If you were one honest enough to pull.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
There you
You
go.
like the color of your car or
you're
whatever.
the last one in line.
Yeah, for the first or
You're the
wherever.
last or first. No,
I mean, all we can do is try to be as fair as we can. That's and you can't. Otherwise, you can't even operate. You know what I mean?
Nobody's made official complaint.
Yes.
Since it was brought up today and we're in this work meeting, I thought,
Yeah.
I'd like to know in case I'm asked again,
Right.
what determines?
I know that's a tough one. We didn't make that policy. Maybe we should revisit it. I don't know what the answer. I don't know if it come out any different.
It does save us money,
Yes. So which saves everybody money.
which saves everybody money. 'Cause I burn nothing but wood, I can tell you I have the finest ashes in
I
Coalport.
burn wood too.
Okay, so
I know exactly what you're there.
I don't get a truckload a year.
I'm the same way.
It was brought to me by somebody else.
Well, again, there's another problem. I was alluding to it, where they dump all that shit. You're running out of room there now. And people are using that. I said, people throw garbage over. You know what I'm talking about? Right down here at the forest, or spruce and wood.
Where it ends.
Yeah.
I work. Yeah, and you're never gonna get rid of it. You know, and it's a shame. You put up a sign, like I said, they put a garbage can up on top of Hippie Dan's years ago to help the kids out, and they filled it up with paper, lit it on fire, and rolled it down over the hill. So,
Yeah, you can't win. Sometimes
you know, you can put 25 signs up there,
yes.
and some idiots still
They're
gonna
doing it.
say hey, that's easier than paying somebody to haul it out.
Well, I think we've met our objectives tonight. You kind of know.
Yeah, I've got some stuff to do tomorrow, but yeah.
We done?
Just BS and
Yeah, I got my money here, so
Hey, Kevin, thanks.
I'll be in touch. Thank you guys. Have a good night.